Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about how to communicate as a consultant. Well, you might ask, hey, I'm not a consultant and I don't care about this. Absolutely not. Okay, these are some of the communication hacks that are primarily used in the consulting world, but these are applicable for every single professional out there. And also, even if you are about to attend a job interview, this will be helpful. Okay, so without any further delay, let me introduce what are the two topics that I'm going to talk about. The first one I'm going to talk about is, hey, what are the challenges that you face when you are communicating in a professional setup? Okay, second thing, we'll also talk about what are some of the hacks that we can use to address these things. Okay, so let us jump right away into the first one. What are some of the challenges that we face when we actually communicate in a professional setup? The first challenge that we face is usually that our audience, whether it is our client, whether it's our internal audience, these guys don't have time, right? Our clients are busy, our manager is busy, our partners, our senior directors, all these guys are busy, right? If you think about consulting, then the project itself is set up in such a way that it should be done in 12 weeks or 8 weeks. So there is no time by design itself. So it's a very, very complicated thing that on one end, there is absolutely no data and whatever you are recommending is of utmost importance, right? And if you think more about it, every business is also giving out its results, quarterly results to the world once every 3 months. So there's a lot of pressure with respect to implementing these recommendations from the consulting team in that particular business cycle itself. Now, the second challenge that we face is also the abundance of information. If you want to do any particular analysis, you can get data from Google, you can get data from your clients, you can get data from your research teams, and the clients will sometimes come and say that, hey, by the way, this data is extremely important. This data will change the course of the answer. Everybody, every stakeholder will have insights, inputs into how important the data is, right? Now, combine these two things, right? One, lack of time, and the second, abundance of information. You mix it, it will become a classic cocktail of challenge. That is, hey, how do I communicate so many things in such a little time? Here comes the communication hacks. So let us move into the step 2 of this entire video. That is, what are some of the ways which we can use to actually help communicate in a better way? The first thing that I want to recommend over here is the rule of 3. Well, if you talk to any consultant, you will always see that, hey, consultants are talking in terms of 3s. What's so special about it, right? Hey, there are 3 recommendations that I want to give. There are 3 analysis that I have done, and there are 3 objectives that we want to solve for, right? Anything you ask, there are 3 things that I am doing here. There are 3 things. All these things are always in terms of 3. Now, a real question you might ask, do these guys always have 3 things? Don't they ever stop with 2? No, they don't stop with 2, because even if they have only 2 things, they'll first say that I have 3 things, and then by the time they come to the end of second point, they'll formalize something and they'll come up with some third point, right? It is easy for folks to remember in terms of 3. That's the reason why consultants use this principle of, hey, talking in terms of 3s. It will also help you to stick with the most important points itself. You don't talk in circles. You don't communicate 100 different things. You will say these are the 3 important things, done. Folks will remember it. Right? In the thousands of things that are on agendas of senior executives, when you speak in terms of 3, folks do remember. So please stick to this, right? Don't speak a lot of points. If you don't have 3 points, start off with the first one, move on to the second one, and by the third, you will realize you have something more to add. Okay? So this is the rule of 3 that I want you guys to follow. The second one that I also want you to think about is about top-down approach, right? I will also add another one, but let me first explain what top-down approach means. Top-down approach simply means that, hey, you are starting off with the answer and then you talk about the entire execution portion. This is very challenging because I'll ask you to do some analysis and you will say that, hey, I've spent the entire night doing that analysis and this is the result. That is how we talk about. We talk first about our effort and then we talk about the outcome. So it is very difficult for people to switch into the opposite direction. That is, hey, first speak about the answer and then speak about the effort. because the clients don't care. The senior executives, the CEOs don't care about the effort required. They ask you, hey, what is the answer, my friend? Please tell me the answer. So you need to have that entire mindset of first speaking the answer and then speaking about the execution. And first talking about the most important concept and then sharing the details. Right? That is called as top-down approach. Whereas naturally we are always inclined to speak about the execution part, the bottom part first, and then speak about the top part, which is the answer. So please get away from this and focus on the top-down approach. The third thing which I also want you to learn about is the horizontal thinking versus vertical thinking. What is horizontal thinking? For example, let us take a client who is based out of Europe, a grocery chain retailer has come to you and said, can you please help me improve my revenues? Let me repeat the statement. A European grocery chain retailer has come to you and said, can you please help me increase my revenues? What is one way of communicating the answer? You will say that, hey, look at 4 factors. The first one, can you give free deliveries? The second one, focus on marketing. Third one, can you do something more in terms of operations, like increasing the store hours? The fourth one, can you change the groceries that you are actually selling to more current trending ones like organic food? That is horizontal way. You are talking about all the factors possible. The second way to talk about this answer is the vertical way, which is, hey, first you need to look at organics. There are a lot of people who are worried about preservatives. There are a lot of people who are thinking about, hey, there is waste coming out of this. People are also thinking, is this a sustainable product? People are also asking you questions about what are some of the things which can impact their health on a day-to-day basis. So stacking up on new kind of groceries is extremely important. So the focus so far has been the current trending groceries, which is absolutely difficult. By the time you get to the 5th point, all the details are lost. You need to first focus on the factors. If you are giving a hypothesis-driven answer in your job interview, please make sure that you give the factors first and then you come into the details. Okay, so this is the second point. We talked about top-down approach and we are talking also about the horizontal approach versus the vertical approach. Horizontal approach, always preferred. If there are multiple factors, speak about the multiple factors and then get into the details of each one of them. Okay, now moving on, the other factor that I also want to talk about is there is abundance of data, as we talked about initially. These abundance of data elements should be translated into key insights. And how can you do that? Your best friend Excel will come to help you. Now, what are the 4 things that you need to know in Excel? At least in the consulting world, there are a couple of functions which are used repeatedly. The first one being pivot tables. The second one, index match. The third one, VLOOKUPs. And finally, you have the goal seek function. Let me repeat it. The first one being your pivot tables. The second one, index match, VLOOKUPs. And finally, your goal seek function. You get comfortable with these functions, you are almost halfway there with respect to creating key insights of the data, right? So focus on making sure that you don't share the entire information of data, but you share about, hey, what are the 3 or 4 things that are important and that are coming as insights from the data. That is it. Okay. I hope this is helpful, guys. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the challenges and we also talked about the potential solutions like top-down approach, the rule of 3, right? And we talked about horizontal versus vertical and we also talked about a few tips from the Excel world, right? There is one other factor which I'm not covering at all today is how to actually come up with good presentations. If you believe that would be helpful, please do let me know in the comments section and I will try to make a video specifically focusing on PowerPoint. Okay, thank you so much, guys, and please do like this video and also please share it with your friends so that it will be helpful for them and they also become great communicators like you. All right, guys, we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care until then. Bye. See you.